Before we start this presentation, I'd like to ask you a question. To participate in this discussion, please close your eyes and raise your hand if you agree with the statement. Let's begin. What are your thoughts on normal? I think normal is bad. I think normal is good. I think normal has two sides to it. I don't really have an opinion to normal at the moment. We will revisit your choice later. Now on to your feature presentation. Picture this. You're planning a trip into the city for the afternoon. To do this, you must use the metro. After purchasing your ticket, you head to the terminal where your train departs. To head over there, you're presented with a set of stairs. On the right, people are moving faster, and on the left, they're moving slower. But why? It's normal. How do we understand normal? Despite normal being all around us, it's kind of hard to understand. The Google definition of normal tells us it's the usual, average, or typical state of condition. But why? Why is it the usual? Why do we use the right over the left? Although normal is not definite, we can understand it through the evaluation of the good and the bad. Let's look at the bad first. Firstly, we must see it in a fictional form. To do so, we must enter the world of Oceania, which luckily George Orwell's 1984 allows us to do so. George Orwell's 1984 is a fictional British literature novel which portrays a multitude of themes such as totalitarianism, propaganda, love, sexuality, and such. It also accentuates the topic of normality and individuality. In the fictional society of Oceania, everyone is subject to confirmation, exposed to lies that are created to conceal the truth. They remain under the rule of the party and an idea of a figure called Big Brother. Focusing on an outer party member, Winston, the story captures life in a totalitarianistic society. Here, an obvious example of why normal is bad stands. The situation portrays that the normal is blindly following the party's regulations, and anyone who does not comply is not a conventional individual and therefore seen as a heretic to the public's eye. The book is centered around the society of incarcerating people to a certain belief that only the party deems to be normal. Without the party's considerations, the individual may emerge as a idiosyncratic character, in more simpler terms, a weird person. If Winston does not comply to rules set by the party, he might be an outcast, and it will not be normal as he not complying with the rules everyone else follows. Here, normal is bad as only confirmation and submission to the loss of identification exists. Moving on to a more real-life example, a captivating TED Talk, What I Learned from My Autistic Brother details a powerful moving story. The speaker begins by telling the audience to please not call her normal, and then she proceeds to introduce her younger brothers by describing all their wonderful qualities. However, she then says that they're not accepted in society based on the fact that they're autistic. They are not normal. This portrays another negative effect. If only society had not pinned them down, that people without disorders were not the only ones defined as normal, then we would have intellectual minds in society. But normal isn't just bad. There's some good things about it too. In a fictional sense, the book Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian is a young adult fictional novel written by Sherman Alexie in collaboration with Forney Ellen. The story is told through the eyes of a spoken boy living on a reservation who is often referred to as Junior, though his real name is Arnold Spirit. He has a best friend named Rowdy who's bigger than him in every way. Junior was born with excess cerebrospinal fluid or water in his brain. He also has glasses that he describes as ugly, thick, black, and plastic. Furthermore, he's skinny but has huge feet. Throughout the first chapter, we are introduced to the various physical disabilities and his constant struggle in his daily life. On the first day of geometry, he discovers that the Indians are so poor that he's learning from a 30-year-old textbook, oddly enough his mother's. Appalled, he throws the math book at his math teacher and consequently gets suspended. A week into suspension, his teacher, Mr. P, comes and visits him. Mr. P breaks down and tells Junior not to lose hope and not to give up, because everyone on the reservation has. The emergence of this moment inspires Junior to attend an all-white school miles away from the reservation. He loses his close-knit friendship with Rowdy, who believes that Junior has betrayed him and the tribe. At his new school, he gets into a fight with an alpha male, who later Junior gains the respect of. He also encounters a girl named Penelope, who later becomes his girlfriend. Real-life-wise, there's a girl named Jordan Reeves. During a 4-minute TED Talk, it's clearly distinguished that there's something different about her, that she's missing an arm. Many people tend to ask her what it's like having only one hand. She tells them what it's like to having two. Society deems people with two hands being normal and any of the ordinaries abnormal. She states that we all have different views on normal, and I think that's really cool. This seems like a constant theme through the discussion of normal. Normalcy is not a set theme. The common folk in this world may agree that normal is having two hands with a total of 10 digits. Jordan, however, has a different take on it and believes that not only in a little world is 5 digits with one arm is normal, but it can be if normal is justified. She also goes into how people would stop and stare at her missing piece. Effectively, she uses this analogy of horses to describe this matter. If you're looking in a field of horses, she says, and if you see a unicorn, would you stop and stare? She then replies to her whole comment with the heck yeah. The normalcy of horses does not seek to conceal the difference of a unicorn, but instead embraces it. Out of all the horses that could be chosen to look at, we tend to look at the abnormal one. She learns to embrace this difference as being the unicorn of her story and using it to motivate her contribution to the world, Project Unicorn. Her normal positively inspired her to find her own personality and create her contribution to the world. So, what does all of this mean? Normal can affect us in different ways that are positive and negative. Because normal is not definite, we can understand it through the evaluation of the good and the bad. However, this is not a fully reliable way to understand as the views of the good and bad fluctuate based on the individual. Bad normalcy can open doors to easily control one's emotion and potentially use it against them. Good normalcy can use the same effect, however, it can create identity and motivate you. However, despite both the sides, it's hard to create an exact answer as normal has good and bad qualities and has a tendency to change based on the situation.